Are they really going to give her a Christian burial after she killed herself?
I'm telling you yes, so finish that grave right away. The coroner examined her case and says it should be a Christian funeral.
But how? Unless she drowned in self-defense.
That's what they're saying she did.
Sounds more like self-offense, if you ask me. What I'm saying is, if she knew she was drowning herself, then that's an act. An act has 3 sides to it: to do, to act, and to perform. Therefore, she must have known she was drowning herself.
No, listen here, gravedigger, sir.
Let me finish. Here's the water, right? And here's the man, okay? If the man goes to the water and drowns himself, he's the one doing it, like it or not. But if the water comes to him and drowns him, then he doesn't drown himself. Therefore, he who is innocent of his own death does not shorten his own life.
Is that how the law sees it?
It sure is the coroner's inquest law.
Do you want to know the truth? If this woman hadn't been rich, she wouldn't have been given a Christian burial.
Well now you've said it, it's a pity that the rich have more freedom to hang or drown themselves than the rest of us Christians. Come on, shovel. The most ancient aristocrats in the world are gardeners, ditch diggers, and grave diggers. They keep up Adam's profession.
Was he an aristocrat with a coat of arms?
He was the first person who ever had arms.
He didn't have any.
What, aren't you a Christian? The Bible says Adam dug in the ground. How would he dig without arms? I'll ask you another question. If you can't answer it...
Go ahead.
What do you call a person who builds stronger than a stonemason, a shipbuilder, or a carpenter does?
The one who builds the gallows to hang people on, since his structure outlives 1,000 inhabitants.
You're funny, and I like that. The gallows do a good job. But how? Does it a good job for those who do bad? Now, it's wrong to say the gallows are stronger than a church. Therefore, the gallows may do you some good. Come on, your turn.
Let's see, who builds stronger things than a stonesman, a shipbuilder, or a carpenter?
That's the question, so answer it.
Ah, I've got it.
Go ahead.
Damn, forgot.
Don't beat your brains over it. You can't make a slow donkey run by beating it. Next time someone asks you this riddle, say a grave digger. The houses he makes last till Judgment Day. Now, go and get me some booze. In my youth I loved, and I thought it was very sweet. I set, the date for, my duty. Oh, I thought it, but not right.
Doesn't this guy realize what he's doing? He's singing while digging a grave.
He's gotten used to graves, and they don't bother him anymore.
Yes, exactly. Only people who don't have to work can afford to be sensitive.
But old age has seeked us on me, and grabbed me in his claws, and has shipped me into the ground, as if I've never been like that.
That skull had a tongue in it once, and could sing. That jackass is throwing it around as if it belonged to Cain. Who did the first murder? It might be the skull of a politician, once capable of talking his way around God, right? And now this idiot is pulling rank on him.
Indeed, my lord.
Or a courtier, who could say things like, "Good night, my sweet lord. How are you doing, good lord?" This might be the skull of Lord So-and-so, who praised Lord such-and-such's horse when he wanted to borrow it, right?
Yes, my lord.
Exactly. And now it's the property of Lady Worm. Its lower jaw knocked off and thwacked on the noggin with a shovel. That's quite a reversal of fortune, isn't it? If we could only see. Are those bones worth nothing more than bowling pins now? It makes my bones ache to think about it.
A pickaxe and a shovel, and a sheet for a funeral shroud. Oh, a pit of dirt is what we need for a guest like this one's here.
There's another. Could that be a lawyer's skull? Where's all his razzle-dazzle legal jargon now? Why does he allow this idiot to knock him on the head with a dirty shovel, instead of suing him for assault and battery? Maybe this guy was once a great landowner, with his deeds and contracts, his tax shelters, and his annuities. Is it part of his deed of ownership to have his skull filled up with dirt? Does he only get to keep as much land as a set of contracts would cover if you spread them out on the ground? The deeds to his properties would barely fit in this coffin, and the coffin's all the property he gets to keep?
No more than that, my lord.
Isn't the parchment of a legal document made of sheepskin?
Yes, my lord, and calfskins, too.
Anyone who puts his trust in such documents is a sheep or a calf. I'll talk to this guy. Excuse me, sir, whose grave is this?
It's mine, sir. Oh, a pit of dirt is what we need for a guest like this one here.
I think it really must be yours, since you're the only one lying in it.
And you're lying outside of it, so it's not yours. As for me, I'm not lying to you in it. It's really mine.
Being in it, and saying it's yours. It's for the dead, not the living, so you're lying.
That's a lively lie, sir. It jumped so fast from me to you.
What man are you digging it for?
For no man, sir.
What woman, then?
For no woman either.
Who's to be buried in it?
One who used to be a woman, but, bless her soul, is dead now.
How literal this guy is. We have to speak precisely, or he'll get the better of us with his wordplay. Lord Horatio, I've been noticing this for a few years now. The peasants have become so clever and witty that they're nipping at the heels of noblemen. How long have you been a gravedigger?
All of the days in the year. I started the day that the late King Hamlet defeated Fortinbras.
How long ago was that?
You don't know that? Any fool could tell you. It was the day that young Hamlet was born, the one who went crazy and got sent off to England.
Why was he sent off to England?
Because he was crazy. He'll recover his sanity there. Or if he doesn't, it won't matter to England.
Why not?
Because nobody will notice he's crazy. Everyone there is as crazy as he is.
How did he go crazy?
In a strange way, they say.
What do you mean, in a strange way?
By losing his mind.
On what grounds?
Right here in Denmark. I've been the church warden here for 30 years, since childhood.
How long will a man lie in his grave before he starts to rot?
Well, if he's not rotten before he dies, and there are a lot of people now who are so rotten they started falling in pieces even before you put them in the coffin, he'll last 8 or 9 years. A leather maker will last 9.
Why does he last longer?
Because his hide's so leathery from the trade that he keeps the water off him a long time. And water is what makes your goddamn body rot more than anything. Here's a skull that's been here 23 years.
Whose was it?
A crazy bastard. Who do you think?
I really don't know.
Damn that crazy madman. He poured a pitcher of white wine on my head once. This is the skull of Yorick, the king's jester.
This one?
Yes, that one.
Let me see. Oh, poor Yorick. I used to know him, Horatio. A very funny guy and with an excellent imagination. He carried me on his back 1,000 times, and now, how terrible. This is him. It makes my stomach turn. I don't know how many times I kissed the lips that used to be right here. Where are your jokes now, your pranks, your songs, your flashes of wit that used to set the whole table laughing? You don't make anybody smile now. Are you sad about that? You need to go to my lady's room and tell her that no matter how much makeup she slathers on, she'll end up just like you someday. That'll make her laugh. Horatio, tell me something.
What, my lord?
Do you think Alexander the Great looked like this when he was buried?
Exactly like that.
And smelled like that too? Phew!
Just as bad, my lord.
How low we can fall, Horatio. Isn't it possible to imagine that the noble ashes of Alexander the Great could end up plugging a hole in a barrel?
If you thought that you'd be thinking too much.
No, not at all. Just follow the logic. Alexander died. Alexander was buried. Alexander returned to dust. The dust is dirt, and dirt makes mud we use to stop up holes. So why can't someone plug a beer barrel with the dirt that used to be Alexander? The great emperor Caesar, dead and turned to clay, might plug up a hole to keep the wind away. Oh, to think that the same body that once ruled the world could now patch up a wall. Be quiet a minute.